Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
Thank you for watching A&F Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Atlanta News First Plus starts now with First Alert Weather.
First Alert meteorologist JD Dishroon here, getting some new software set up, so we apologize if you heard us for the last minute and a half, but you get a little behind-the-scenes action of what happens when we are learning new things, and that's exactly what we're doing this weekend, obviously, with our Atlanta News First, going independent. We're happy to have you here with us. Do want to tell you, though, weather-wise, we're going to be looking at First Alert weather days coming up in your forecast as we head into Thursday, Friday, and on in towards Saturday. So thankfully several days away from now, but as we make our way into the end of the weekend, into next weekend, it is going to be looking a little bit on the wetter side. So as we take a look outdoors right now, your First Alert radar shows we're going to be dealing with, for the most part, just a few isolated showers and storms across the area. We're going to be looking at a few, mainly up into North Georgia. So the one over near Gainesville's fizzled out. We have another one popping up in northern White County right now, and that's honestly about it. And we're not expecting too much in the way of precipitation as we head into the next, really, several hours. By tomorrow, it's going to be hot again, mostly dry. Temperatures back into the mid-90s, feeling like the upper 90s, and we're going to be looking at temperatures into the low 90s as we head in towards Tuesday, and low 90s going into Wednesday as well. Pop-up showers and storms are going to be continuing on into your forecast. Want to give you an update on what's going on with Hurricane Erin right now. We're looking at winds still kind of holding steady at 125 miles an hour. We did have that rapid intensification Friday going from a Cat 1 all the way up to a Cat 5 by Saturday afternoon. Very impressive to get that strong within a 24-hour period, but almost immediately at that point, Erin went into what's called an eye wall replacement cycle. So that's just basically what happens when the inner eye wall starts to get overtaken by a newer outer eye wall, and it typically will weaken the wind speeds, but strengthening is expected to occur once this is concluded, and we're going to notice that in the forecast with the NHC calling for a Cat 4 tomorrow and again on Tuesday. So it's going to stay a strong storm for quite some time as it starts to curve to the north and eventually curves back out to sea going between the U.S. and Bermuda. Looking at a Cat 3 by Wednesday, Cat 2 by Thursday and Friday. And while no direct impacts are expected in the U.S., indirectly, this is going to be a massive storm. So it's going to be throwing up huge waves along the coast. That's going to increase the rip current risk. In fact, we're looking at an extremely high rip current risk from Florida all the way up to the mid-Atlantic states as we head in towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you do have any beach plans, you definitely want to keep an eye on the flags. Double flags means the beach is closed. Red flags means use extreme caution, and definitely check with your local authorities. We're starting to hear some places in the Outer Banks of North Carolina are already issuing states of emergency and telling people to evacuate because of the high surf and the low-lying areas. So you know what? If you're heading up to the Outer Banks, you definitely need to check to see if you're even going to be allowed to go as we head into the weekend. Meanwhile, your 7-day forecast, that super 7 day, is going to be showing temperatures tomorrow again back up into the low 90s. We're going to be looking at really low to mid 90s as we head through the next several days. 20% chance of a passing shower as we head into your Monday. We're going to start the morning off with sunny skies, so sunshine delays are possible coming in from 20 and I-85 on the west side of town. But by the afternoon, isolated showers are possible as we head throughout the day into the evening and then fizzling out overnight. So it looks like we're going to be stuck in that pattern as we head into the next several days until we get into Thursday. That's going to be a First Alert weather day. That's when we're going to see our next chance of rain start to work its way back into the forecast, and we're going to notice by Friday it's going to be our best chance of rain. So, as we pull that back out, notice Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all First Alert weather days. 50% Thursday, but 60% Friday. Maybe a brief dry out in the morning, but by the afternoon, more showers and storms start to work their way back into the forecast, becoming widespread by the evening commute and into the overnight hours, in fact, lingering on into your Saturday as well. So as we head into the weekend, it looks like the front half of your weekend is going to be wet, but the good news is by Sunday, we're going to be looking at maybe a 30% chance for a pop-up shower or storm. Temperatures starting to slow climb back into the mid-80s, and looks like just a normal summertime weather pattern. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm going to toss it now over to Joylyn Nackram, who has the latest on your news.
All right, thank you so much, JD. I want to start with this issue that we've been following pretty closely, which concerns safety and MARTA. And, there have been some growing calls for increased safety, some changes regarding safety, particularly after the escalator incident. Well, the vice chair of Atlanta's Transportation Committee now pushing for some new legislation to make your next MARTA ride safer. Atlanta News First, Niamani Watson is at the 5 Point Station downtown, walking us through that legislation.
It's extremely important that the record is set as to the quality of safety and protocol that happens around all of our MARTA stations.
Overstreet is the vice chair of the city's Transportation Committee. She plans to introduce a resolution during the city council meeting Monday, calling for MARTA to provide its safety protocol at transit stations.
This is how I include city council on conversations around what we expect MARTA to do for our city.
Takayla Tatum, who rides the MARTA to her college downtown, says she feels somewhat safe.
It's pretty safe for me because I don't be talking to nobody, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of people on there, and then people can be very off-putting.
Overstreet's request comes after 2 MARTA police officers were shot at the 5 Point Station just 9 days ago. Then a man was shot at the H.E. Holmes station last week. Overstreet also mentioned the viral escalator malfunction at the Vine City station in July that left multiple people injured after the Beyonce concert. She says she has asked MARTA to appear before the Transportation Committee, but that MARTA has not been responsive.
And I've not heard any concrete evidence of when we're going to hear about the findings of the investigation or any safety protocols.
We reached out to MARTA about this. MARTA says it has shared the results of the Vine City investigation and its enhanced safety measures with City Council, including Overstreet.
It was a run to remember.
And the high school football season is now officially underway in Georgia. Last night marked the season opener for Appalachia High School, and it comes nearly a year after a tragic shooting claimed the lives of 2 teachers and 2 students on the campus. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer explains this game brought special meaning.
Friday night lights turned into Saturday night football for Appalachia High School after Friday's bad weather.
The rain stopped us, so we here today. We just hoping for a win.
Parents and fans showed up to support the football team, but this season opener brought on a new meaning. September 4th will mark a year since the school lost 2 teachers and 2 students in a mass shooting.
The whole community was hit by it. We came a long way, and I don't know, to see the smiles on their faces now, it feels good. It feels amazing.
Former football head coach Mike Hancock resigned earlier this year, stepping away due to depression and PTSD from that mass shooting.
There's still a difference in the air, you know, and it I guess it forever will be, in time will heal that. But you still get that the positivity of kids still getting to be kids.
Lexi Jackson's daughter was in that classroom when the shooting happened.
There were 3 chances for her to not be here, and somehow God intervened.
Jackson says coming to this football game is not only bringing a sense of normalcy for the kids, it's also helping her.
I'm so glad that we get to come back here and take it in, face it, and I get to still walk around my old high school. She wanted to go back to the classroom, she did, and she faced that like a very, very, very big person.
Appalachia took the win Saturday, bringing some encouragement to a grief-stricken community.
To stay encouraged. Your life means something, and it matters, and make the most of every single day that you have, because as you can see, it can be over in the matter of seconds.
The drive up Kennesaw Mountain is about 1.5 miles long. When you get to the top, there are beautiful skyline views and placards marking historic Civil War battles.
This has been a national park site since 1935.
Visitors can also walk, run, hike, and bike up the mountain. But with an average of about 2 million guests per year, Park Superintendent Patrick Gammon says it's time to separate pedestrian traffic from vehicle traffic.
There's been studies done, and they're saying someday you need to stop driving cars up the mountain. And that day has come.
In October, Gammon says they will begin adding barriers and repainting the road for a new traffic flow. The outside lane will be for walkers and runners, and the inside lane will be for...
It was a run to remember in downtown Atlanta as organizers of the annual Atlanta's Finest 5K dedicated this year's event to fallen DeKalb County officer David Rose.
It's a very terrible situation.
Runner Felicia Merritt says a 5K isn't just about training, it's about building community. And this year, she says, you could feel the weight of it.
Everything that we can do to bring awareness and treat our officers with respect, that's what we need to do.
Officer Rose was killed just over a week ago while responding to a shooting at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. He leaves behind his wife, 2 children, and another on the way.
As 3 children will grow up without a father, they won't grow up alone. The community will help raise them.
It's just another reminder of, the risks, the sacrifices that law enforcement officers give for their community every day.
A portion of the proceeds from the race, more than $40,000, will go directly to the Rose family. Runners like Marta Lofton and the police say events like this unite Atlanta's more than 240 neighborhoods. Everyday citizens running shoulder to shoulder with the protectors in a high-energy show of support.
Very exciting. The energy is great, frequency is great, so I'm ready to get my sweat on.
Sometimes it's a critical call, sometimes it's a sad moment, but here today it's joy.
In downtown Atlanta, Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And some big changes now coming to Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. Guests will no longer be able to drive to the top. We spoke with officials who say it's all about keeping your family safe. Atlanta News First, Chelsea Beinfort has more.
The drive up Kennesaw Mountain is about 1.5 miles long. When you get to the top, there are beautiful skyline views and placards marking historic Civil War battles.
This has been a national park site since 1935.
Visitors can also walk, run, hike, and bike up the mountain. But with an average of about 2 million guests per year, Park Superintendent Patrick Gammon says it's time to separate pedestrian traffic from vehicle traffic.
There's been studies done, and they're saying someday you need to stop driving cars up the mountain. And that day has come.
In October, Gammon says they will begin adding barriers and repainting the road for a new traffic flow. The outside lane will be for walkers and runners, and the inside lane will be for cyclists and a park shuttle.
I think that when you're walking on the road, most of the people who drive up are not familiar with the area, and so they're not necessarily being safe drivers.
Some park goers like Caroline Estes welcome the change.
And as a cyclist, it's extremely dangerous because we have to get out of the way of walkers, and then you're going straight into an oncoming car.
But others want the road to stay open for tourists and people working with limited time to visit the national park.
I suggest they keep it up open for the drivers too, for those who like to come out here. There's people from out of state who come out here sometime, and they only have a short amount of time and they want to see it.
Either way, Gammon says it's his top priority to keep all visitors safe. And though change is hard, he says in this case, it's necessary.
It's going to be a little tough to accept at first, but eventually you'll get used to it. And I think you'll find that it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Bit by bit, we're going to try to make this the most accessible, safe place for you to visit.
And more on all of these top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com.